Quick question: you have 10 seconds to guess what happened in Southeast Asia in 1941. If you answer 3, Koala Man overthrew the Siamese kingdom. Wow, I'm surprised you have that answer, but no, you're wrong. If you answered the Japanese Empire invaded the entirety of Southeast Asia, then you're right. Now, it is a fairly known fact that the Allies lost Southeast Asia fairly quickly, however they did try their best to hold them. One notable effort they made is the Supreme Command of American, British, Dutch, Australian Command, or ABDACOM for short, and that's exactly what I am gonna discuss today. What is ABDACOM? ABDACOM, which stands for American, British, Dutch, Australian Command, is a supreme command responsible for combined operations between the US, British, Dutch, and Australian troops both in the land, in the air, and in the sea. ABDACOM, also sometimes known as Southwest Pacific Command, not to be confused with Southwest Pacific Area Command, which was the successor of ABDACOM. ABDACOM controls the area of Southeast Asia, mainly the Dutch East Indies, British Malaya, British Burma, and Australia, alongside major ocean and seas such as the Java Sea, South China Sea, Timor Sea, etc. However, its main purpose is to hold Southeast Asia as long as possible. With that, it also comes a responsibility to maintain the Malay Barrier, which is a series of defenses covering the Malay Peninsula, Borneo, Sumatra, Java, and other islands, and the colonies it covers. One of the ABDACOM's most important tasks is to hold the Japanese naval superiority in the area. Thankfully, the combined fleet of the ABDACOM is pretty sizable. The ABDACOM fleet consists of 25 American ships, including 1 aircraft carrier, though the USS Langley is pretty old, 16 ships from the British Royal Navy, 11 ships from the Dutch Navy, and 5 ships from the Australian Navy. Here's also their structure. It's hard to explain, so here's a pic. How did they do? The ABDACOM was ineffective most of the time. The rapidly advancing Japanese Navy and Army soon overwhelmed the defenses in Malaya and the Dutch East Indies. After Singapore fell on the 15th of February 1942, the ABDACOM effectively was destroyed. The Dutch forces in the East Indies was alone. British forces now mainly concentrates on Burma. Australian troops are now committed in North Africa. American troops mainly focus on retaking Philippines. The Dutch East Indies didn't last long either. The Dutch East Indies campaign lasted for 4 months, from the Japanese landing of Java in December until the capitulation of the Dutch East Indies government in March. In the Battle of the Java Sea, the Dutch Navy in the East Indies was effectively destroyed. The Imperial Japanese Navy sank 2 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and damaged 1 heavy cruiser. The battle also resulted in the death of Rear Admiral Carroll Dorman. Other smaller and insignificant naval engagements occurred days after the Battle of the Java Sea occurred, one of which is the Battle of the Sunda Strait, which occurred in the Sunda Strait, and following that the Second Battle of the Java Sea occurred, all of which is a loss for the ABDA Navy. After the Second Battle of the Java Sea, there would be almost no naval operations in the area for a year. With the losses on the Navy, the Dutch East Indies campaign, the Imperial Japanese Army quickly overrun the KNIL forces. After the loss of the Dutch East Indies, the ABDACOM was basically and truly destroyed. The Dutch Navy was strategically decimated, and there's very little ground left for the Allies. It was succeeded by Southwest Pacific Area Command, mainly led by the US. In the rare times ABDACOM were actually effective, they actually did pretty well, such as the Battle of Timor, where small groups of Australian and Dutch forces managed to hold Dutch Timor for a year. That's basically ABDACOM. Thank you for watching, have a good 2021 and stay safe and healthy.